This presentation is very special to me, and it's very close to the work I do here at Consensus. I'm really excited to let you know what we've been up to in the customer experience department. I like to summarize Consensus values in this sentence, saying that we're passionate about technology and people. And really what this means is that we want to make SAP Business One work for your company, of course, to achieve greater profitability, growth, etc. But we also want to make it work for each one of the users. And I translate that into my work day is a good day if I've helped you achieve your goals at work and leave work to your family and friends with a peace of mind and a shorter to-do list, less pending tasks, and less overwhelmed. So we want each user to feel as comfortable as possible and to optimize the use that they're doing of the system. Really, to do that, it's going to be teamwork, because you need to be continuously learning more about the system to achieve greater efficiencies, but we want to help you do that. And one of the facts about SAP Business One, which is the #1 ERP for small and medium-sized businesses in the world, that most impresses me is the number of users. 1.2 million users around the world and 95% renewal maintenance rate. That means we are in good company in a large community of happy users, and that's one of the resources that we're going to be covering in this presentation. Basically, when you're an SAP Business One user, you might have various different sources where you go to get additional information, to get answers to your questions, or to keep learning SAP Business One, and they're all valid. You could go to all our resources that we are building continuously at Consensus, our website, our resources tab, YouTube, and other social media channels. Also, you could go to SAP official web pages like the Help Portal, community page, Support Launchpad, or the SAP Business One Academy. But also you have links to many of these resources right on your menu of the system that you're using. Another scenario in which training materials are needed is when you're onboarding a new employee, a new user. Maybe the team is already trained, you went through the go live, but then a new employee comes along that has never heard about SAP Business One, and you just want to get that person familiar with the system before you train them in the specific task that they will be performing inside the system. Before, we had the SAP Business One Academy on the SAP Learning Hub, which is still a fantastic resource, but I'm very excited to announce that we now have also an SAP e-learning portal for beginners in the Consensus website that I'm going to be showing you. And I'm really, really excited about this. So let's go and explore all the different resources, our favorite resources that we want to introduce to you. In order to register to the SAP Learning Hub to access the SAP Business One Academy, which is a fantastic training resource, both for new and advanced users, we have created a step-by-step guide on our web page. You will find it under resources, how-to guides and demos. If you scroll down a little bit, you find it right here. This is how it looks. Once you go through that guide, you will have registered to the Learning Hub, and you will be on a screen similar to this one. And then once you access the SAP Learning Hub, it looks like this. You will have to scroll down again a little bit until you find the learning journeys. And on the learning journeys page, you will have to filter to SAP Business One. And then you will see a catalog of learning journeys in different languages. We are now going to explore the SAP Business One 10 implementation English. If we explore this journey, what this is going to give us is an overview and the logical order in which someone should start learning SAP Business One. And we have different courses. it's true that this order is the logical order for beginners, but if you are already an advanced user and you just want to learn about a very specific functionality in SAP Business One, for instance, project management or any other very specific functionality, you can go directly to that content. For the purpose of this very short overview, we're going to explore the first course, which is called SAP Business One Introduction, and is the one that we highly recommend your new users to take. I have already enrolled in this course in the past, so that's why the button is showing the word withdraw instead of enroll, which is the word that you will find when you first open this course. And once you enroll, you will be able to track your progress in this progress bar. We have information here about the duration of this course, and it's also split into different smaller courses. We have a summary of what is included in each course here. And after we take all the courses included in this course, then we'll be able to test our knowledge and actually take a very short quiz that will give us kind of a certification or a grade that we can then maybe provide our company if they did ask us to provide something like that. And after you finish with the theoretical learning, you also have access to case studies. This is very interesting content. The user will need to have access to a test database in order to complete the case study exercises that are proposed to them. Whenever I visit the community page, the SAP community page, I always think about that number, 1 million users around the world, and using SAP Business One. And in this page, in the community, these users come together, they share their expertise, they ask questions, advanced users and advanced consultants answer those questions, and you can actually stay up to date with your knowledge, and it's a very nice one-stop shop to keep learning SAP Business One. My favorite contents within the community page that I can't find anywhere else are the Q&A and the blogs. If you scroll down, you're going to see some other content, links to some other content that we're going to be talking about later, we're going to be reviewing later, because all these resources are very much interconnected. So whatever one of these you choose as your favorite portal will probably have backdoors or links to the other sources as well. So if you see here, we have access to the how-to guides that are really located in the help portal, or the continuous influence page, which is something that we're going to review later. But very specific to the community page is the Q&A content for the different solutions and the blog content. What I like to do is I like to go to the Q&A, and then I like to search for the question I have. And more likely than not, I will find a very similar question to the one I have on a topic related to the question or the problem that I am encountering. And I will find very, very fitted answers and explanations of what I'm looking for. Also in the blog, so we go back to the community page and I'm going to show you. So that would be for the Q&A content. But then if you go to the blog content and you click on SAP Business One, which is what I did before, you can also search within the SAP community. And my favorite searches are just the word tips. And this brings up a lot of content. Some of this support spotlight, for instance, is written directly by SAP support team. It means that a lot of us partners are escalating problems to them relating to these issues, and then they decide to write content about that. So very, very interesting. And the other search that I like to do as well is tip of the week. And that brings me a lot of interesting tips that we will see can be found elsewhere, but I really like to search for them here. Also, you can actually filter by here the type of content that you want. So you might type in an issue that you're experiencing and you want to look for answers in all these sources. You can do that right from the community page. If instead of going to look for questions that have already been asked. You would like to ask your own question. If you would like to actively participate in the community, for instance, here, if you go to answers and you click on ask a question, please know that you will be needing your user ID that is provided by SAP. You can read all the questions that other users have posted and the answers, but if you want to ask your own question, for this, you will need your user ID. If you don't have your user ID and you want to become an active member of this community, please let us know. We will absolutely give you your user ID if you think you're going to be using it. If not, it might just be another user and password that you never used, and there are plenty of content that you can access without it, but this is one of those exceptions. So if you think that you're gonna be using it, please just let us know and we'll provide you with your user ID. To access the SAP Customer Influence page, or the SAP Business One Idea place, as other people call it, you will need an user ID. So please remember that the only thing you need to do is ask for it, send us an email, and we will make sure to send you your user ID so that you can actively participate in this genius idea place. And basically what it means is you are invited to vote on, comment on, or submit improvement requests for SAP Business One. Every improvement request with more than 25 votes by different customers or partners qualifies for an obligatory review by the development team. And actually, it is impressive. For instance, we're looking here at a very brief presentation of third quarter of 2021, and 39 improvement requests were actually delivered. So these were improvement requests that came directly from users like you. And the way that you actually do that is when you log into the SAP Customer Influence page, you will have access to first review all requests, and that would be our recommendation. So you review all requests and you're able to filter by keywords or key phrases. And if you have a very specific idea, it's a very good practice to first verify if there's nothing already out there being considered or being voted, which you can upvote. So for instance, if you were thinking about suggesting an enhancement that has to do with posting periods of the new year, you can just write those words and then go through the improvement requests that are already there. And if you find yours, then you just upvote it and you will be contributing to make that improvement request being reviewed by the SAP team. If you need to create your own request because you can't find it there, then you just click here and you will be filling out your own request. We ask that if you do submit an improvement request, please let us know. And we are going to do a campaign internally with our customers and with other partners so that we get votes for your request. Right now, we have our own request, which was submitted by our own consulting director, Greg Roop. It's in relation to MRP and taking into account batch expiration dates when calculating supply and demand recommendations. We have 22 votes. So we would really love your support. If you can help us voting, we will be including this request ID in our next newsletter so that you can actually upvote it once you become active on the SAP Customer Influence page, which we really encourage you to do. Thank you very much. One of the challenges of navigating the SAP Help Portal is the extensive and huge number of solutions under the SAP brand. SAP Business One is only the ERP solution for small and medium-sized companies, but SAP has a large portfolio of solutions. So when you get to the SAP Help Portal, you will have to do some navigation and some filtering in order to get to where you want to go. We go over that navigation, and I share some tips regarding that navigation on the Exploring
user training resources session that we do monthly. So I recommend that you join one of those sessions if you want to learn how to navigate. Today, I'm just going to briefly show you some of the content that you can see on the SAP Help portal once you've learned to filter and to navigate it. And a word of advice, you might see when you join the SAP Help portal some prompts to get support, to contact support. Please know that this is in reference to other solutions. SAP Business One is supported by the channel partners in level 1. So you need to contact us, and then we will escalate the issue to SAP. SAP support does not support directly its SAP Business One customers or users. So if you need support, you will need to come to consensus first, and then we will escalate that. After you've done some of the filtering that I was referring to before, you will still have amazing amounts of information. For most of this information, you won't need your as user ID, but there is a link to the support launchpad for SAP Business One, for which you will need your as user ID. But this is specially meant for SAP Business One administrators. So not your day-to-day SAP Business One user, but the person responsible for the software and its maintenance at your company. Once they get their as user ID and they access the support launchpad, their dashboard is going to look something like this, not exactly like this one, because this is a partner support dashboard, but I just wanted to point out that one of the most interesting features of the support launchpad is the SAP Notes search. So what you're able to do once you access it is just type in some keywords and then filter by, I want to know what's been released within the last 1 month, for instance. And you will see SAP Business One Notes, knowledge base. You will be able to bookmark your favorite notes, etc. And if you see, we just typed fixed assets depreciation, and already all these documents came up that were released in the last month. So for an SAP Business One administrator point of view, very useful, this support launchpad. Other than that, once you further filter and get to exactly the product that you're using and the version that you're using and the language that you're using, you can filter all these. You will be greeted with a lot of information. I just want to highlight one of my favorites, which is the under application help, the list of SAP Business One how-to guides. And again, it's very extensive and comprehensive. The only word of advice when using these how-to guides, which are perfect for those users that really like to read the step-by-step and have a PDF available with all the information regarding a specific workflow or process, just take into account that some of these how-to guides apply to very specific localizations. For instance, this one, how to manage sales and purchasing tax in the US localizations. This would apply to us, but this one is for the India localization. So make sure that you check that you are reading something that applies to your localization. And you can actually create custom PDFs by selecting pieces of these how-to guides that maybe you want to send to another user. And we go over that process also in the Exploring User Training Resources monthly session. So I invite you to join one of those to learn how to do that.
So at Consensus, we work really hard to provide you with webinars that are interesting to you. We do have under resources the tab webinars and workshops, and you can always go there and find out what are the latest webinars that are upcoming or those that are already recorded and available on demand to you. You can hover over with your mouse. This will flip the image and you will see more information regarding the content of that webinar, and you will find a button to watch the webinar on demand. You will be asked to register again, but it should be a very straightforward process, and you can then watch it whenever you want. And very new, and actually this is the first time that we are showing this to you, is this portal for e-learning for beginners. This is really in response to your demand. We want to take out of the way the hassle of making your new employees comfortable with the system, with the basic navigation and understanding the personality and how SAP Business One works. We have gathered here different types of content, like a couple of webinars with tips and tricks and basic navigation, also some tutorials in the form of PDF files. And we have here also the access to the Learning Hub, both the access guide with the step-by-step and then the link to directly access the SAP Business One Academy. But first, you will have to register. So we recommend, if this is the first time that you're going to send your users to the Learning Hub, that they first read the guide on how to register. And then once they have, they are already comfortable with using the system, they can continue their learning journey. We recommend that you subscribe to our newsletter. Then we have a link here to the page that I just showed with the webinars, and also a link to a page where you can register to an upcoming session of SAP Business One learning resources. That is the long session in which I explore the resources that I'm showing you today, but a little bit in more detail and showing you more tips for navigation.
The two main places where you find how-to guides, SAP Business One how-to guides, are the SAP Help portal, like we were just now seeing. You saw that there's a very long list of how-to guides, and each one of them is going to teach you how to go about a specific process in SAP Business One. These are generally very thorough and detailed documents. Let's take this one into account. For instance, how to define authorizations in SAP Business One. If you look at the index, we see that this is a 125-page document. So very, very thorough and a great source of learning. It includes screenshots and a detailed explanation of every field that you see on the screenshot is described. Very, very thorough. Another place where you can find how-to guides is our own webpage, consensusintl.com. If you click on resources, one of the tabs available is how-to guides and demos. If you click on these two little buttons, if you click on videos, you'll go to see some demos of SAP Business One processes. Some of these were recorded a long time ago in older versions of SAP, but the process still stands. Recent versions might have included some enhancements, but that training still stands and works for you. And the PDFs are basically documents with how-to guides. Some of them are SAP made, and you would find, for instance, this one of how to work with project management. You can find it both here in our webpage and in the SAP Help portal. And some others, shorter documents, more simple and pertaining to even smaller process or detail in SAP Business One. Those are consensus made, and generally they answer questions from you, frequently asked questions from you. So we create them almost on a non-demand basis, and they are here available for you if you want to review a specific process like creating new posting periods in SAP Business One, or how to use the reporter problem tool, or unblock the house bank account. Here they are at your disposal. Tips and tricks are probably one of the favorite little bites of training that users really, really appreciate. They are very short videos or articles that help you optimize your day-to-day work and gain more from your SAP Business One. These are tiny features or just shortcuts or ways of doing things that we didn't have time to include on our formal training. Regularly, they're not included in the how-to guides because they could be applied in different scenarios. So a really cool way of consuming, new ways of doing things in SAP Business One. There are several sources for these tips. One of them is the SAP community page. All the blogs tagged tip of the week or tips like you were seeing before. Another great source is LinkedIn. Ari Shapira, the Chief Product Owner for SAP Business One at SAP, publishes a tip of the week every Sunday in the form of an article, of a blog post. Then there's also our own YouTube channel. We have collections of tips and tricks here for you to consume. We have this playlist titled Coffee and SAP Business One Tip. This is something that we did at the beginning of the pandemic, but we also have this other playlist called SAP Business One Tips and Tricks, which are very, very cool. And we are going to be publishing a weekly tip of the week in the form of a short video. We will share it through our social media. So please come to our YouTube channel, Consensus INTL, and subscribe so that you are notified of the new tip. Or maybe you prefer to subscribe to our LinkedIn page and you will be notified there as well. Consensus Customer Experience Department is also a resource at your service. The function was designed to be a go-to person for every user. Whenever you're not 100% sure who you should be contacting at Consensus, or if ever you feel that communication is not flowing with one of our departments. We are also your voice inside of Consensus. We represent your point of view at internal meetings. And our final goal is to improve your experience, of course, to improve your journey with both SAP Business One and our services. For that reason, we need to gather feedback from you. We try not to be a pest, but from time to time, you would receive a survey from us or maybe a call or an email asking how things are going. And we truly appreciate your feedback. We live by it, and we really needed to do our job correctly. We are also responsible for designing the webinar program as well as the e-learning programs, and we send out a monthly newsletter like I explained at the beginning. Our phone number and my email are there available for you. And I have chosen this image because the basic idea that I want you to retain from this session, if only one, is that our doors are always open to you. Please contact us at any time. I have even another image to illustrate this concept because this is the most important thing for me. I need you to know that we are here for you. We are all ears. We want to hear from you, and all your feedback is useful for us. The good, the bad, and the ugly, like they say. All your feedback is useful because we want to improve your experience, continue doing what is working for you, and improve what is not working so well.
One of the beauties of SAP Business One is its help menu, which actually puts at the tip of your fingers many of the resources that we've been reviewing in this session. So when you click on help, the first option is going to give you documentation, online help. That's going to open a user manual for the version that you're running. The next link is country and region specific information. That's going to give you specific information about the localization you are running. The context help, it goes a little bit deeper into detail. To use context help, you need to have a window, a document, or a wizard opened in SAP Business One, as what the context help does is it opens the user manual in exactly the chapter that you are working on. So if you're working on a sales order, it will open directly the sales module part of the user manual. And what's this? It's even more precise than that. And you need to have one field within a document or a screen activated. And when you click what's this, it's going to give you information on the user manual exactly in relation to that field in SAP Business One. So basically, documentation takes you to the user manual and it filters the information for you already. If you remember, one of the challenges of the SAP Help Portal was to actually filter to be able to find the information that really was useful to you. Well, if you access that documentation directly from your system, there's already filtering all that for you so that you go to the user manual that is relevant for you. The welcome screen is this screen. If you haven't unchecked this, since you implemented the system, you're probably greeted by this window every time that you open SAP. And it also has very interesting links to resources that we already know, but it's another interesting way of going to those. And next we have SAP links with links to the SAP Help Portal, to the customer influence, to top resolutions, to the SAP Business One Academy, and to SAP Business One tips right here in your system. In the support desk, the most interesting link for me is the report a problem. It's not a link, it's actually a tool inside your system. We have a how-to guide on how to use this tool in our website. I do recommend that you go and take a look at that, because it's a very interesting tool when you're trying to document a complex incident to support. It gives us a lot of information. And the final option here under help is about SAP Business One. It gives us information about the specific version and feature pack release that we are running, which could come in handy in different situations. The combination of the system messages log and the online search is what I call a powerful tool, or a magic wand. So we've all experienced the error message that shows at the bottom of our screen, and that could be pretty annoying because it disappears quickly, and sometimes we're not even able to read the full error message and what it's telling us. The first tip that I want to share with you today is that if you go to Window and you activate the system messages log, which I already had activated, but I'm going to do that again. That is going to bring this little tab for you. And if you open it, and you can actually bring it up, it is exactly as its name says. It's a log of all the messages that the system has been giving you. So if you want to find more information relating to an error message that you were experiencing, you just need to hover over it and then right click on your mouse and select Search Online. And what that is going to do is it's going to open a search page, but the results are filtered. If you look at the very end of the URL, that is of the search keywords that are entered here, this last part means that it's filtering results to only official SAP.com pages. So normally what you're going to find is this error and some users, advanced users or consultants talking about a similar error on the community page that we saw. So directly from your system, and just by activating the system messages log, which takes a lot of real estate of your screen, so that's why we don't need to have it activated all the time. But when you experience an error, even if only to be able to report the error specifically and correctly, activate the system messages log through the window menu, then attempt to do what you were trying to do so that that message is activated again. You will find it several times because you probably attempted to do that you were trying to do several times. And you can then copy and paste this or take a screenshot when you report your incident to us, to support. Or you can also use the right click and online search to see if you can find the answer on your own. Really quickly, I want to go over how Consensus Support Help Desk is there to help you. Not really a training resource though. The support platform and Consensus Support Help Desk department is there to help you when something is broken in the system, when something is not working as it should. So not really to train users at all. One best practice that we've identified with many of our customers is that naming an internal support champion at your company will increase the efficiency of how fast your users get support tremendously. So if you have not named a support champion at your company yet, please contact us and let us help you through that process of naming a support champion. When you need to contact support at Consensus, really there are two main ways of doing this. Send an email to support@consensusintl, or if you are a named support champion, you will have access to our support platform and you can directly create a ticket on that support platform. Remember to include as much information as possible, not only about the problem you are experiencing, including screenshots and all the details that you can think about, but also your contact information. You might have been working with a specific consultant for a long time and you assume that we're going to know what is the best phone number to reach you or things like that. But when you reach support, you might be, somebody else might be looking at your request that day. And that's the beauty of support, that you send that email to support and somebody is always going to see it, even if the consultant that you've been working with is not available at that time. Like I said, as much detail as possible. You will receive a support ticket number right after you send that email. If you need to call because it is an emergency, please send that email first so you have that ticket number handy when you call. That will help us help you better and faster. Last but not least, one of the most valuable resources at your disposal for increasing your knowledge in SAP Business One, and specifically when we're talking about critical processes, is Consensus Consultancy Team. All the other resources that we've been sharing so far, the SAP Help Portal, the user manual, the online search, Consensus webinars, the SAP Business One Academy at the Learning Hub, please take into account that all that content is always talking about SAP Business One vanilla, if you will. SAP Business One without any customization, without any integration. Chances are that the system was customized to reflect the personality and the processes at your own company. When you acquire all the knowledge available through all these sources, and then you have a session with one of our consultants, what that is going to do is it's going to help you connect the dots. Like the image shows, the consultants not only bring to the table their knowledge of the system, but also their experience, sometimes with other customers and best practices throughout years, and also with your own company if they were the consultant who was involved in your implementation, or because they heard internally about your processes. So do consider counting on the Consensus Consultancy Team as a long-term partner for you and for any changes that you want to implement. Specifically, I want to highlight that if you are in one of these situations, it's a best practice to take advantage of this. And even though sessions with our consultants are billable, of course, you will be saving time and money and headaches in many instances. So if you're onboarding new users, we have created this portal with all this information, but if these new users are going to be performing key processes, please make sure that after being trained with all the resources available to you, please make sure that they have a session with one consultant to confirm that they're going to be doing what they need to do and that they don't have any additional questions. A post-implementation review is also very recommended. Your business might have changed throughout the years, and the post-implementation review is an assessment that the system is being used to the best of its possibilities for the processes that you need to run. Software erosion is a very common situation that we encounter, where users have been trained by previous users that were trained originally by consultants maybe, but the users that you have right now running your business, they have never received formal training in the system, and maybe they missed something on the way, like the broken telephone game. If you are looking to reinvent a part of your company or your business model, please invite us to the table so that we can help you do that in the most optimized way, taking advantage of your investment in technology that you did for critical processes. When new versions come around and new functionalities are available, it's also a very good idea to engage in some formal training. And if you want to create new queries and reports, you can always count on our consultancy team as well. A couple of important tips. When you engage with our consultancy teams, the training sessions or the sessions with our consultants, normally they are recorded. We do share that link to the recording with you, and those links expire. Make sure that you download those recordings, because they might come in handy at a later time, and you maybe don't want to pay again for the same training that you received. And if you forget something, you can always go back to the recording. Internally in your company, do have someone documenting your processes as detailed as possible. That is going to help you immensely when you onboard new users. If you name process owners, they should be responsible for documenting anything new that it's done in the system, any new customization, any new integration, and how it affects the way the system works. Review periodically your processes and how the system is working for you. And do count on us for this. As I said before, this is basically what we do. So we really want to be a part of your growth and of your success. And that is all from me today. I apologize that this session went a little longer than I expected. There was a lot of content to cover, as you saw. And you might be thinking, well, she showed a lot of interesting things, but how do I get to those places? How do I know where to find those links and those pages? Don't worry, I'm going to be sharing with you a document like the one you're seeing on screen right now. And basically, that covers everything that we've seen, and with the direct links to find exactly what I was sharing with you. Remember that we do have these monthly sessions, which are similar to this one, but I take a little bit more time into navigating into each one of the resources and showing you additional tips to use every one of these resources.